I wrote down here in my notes, Sean Mooney looks like Charles Grodin. A little bit.
You're watching So Awkward. This is Freddy Krueger saying, hi!
WrestleMania VIII. It was pretty great. April 5th, 1992 at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, Indiana. Pretty great WrestleMania. Not the best, but a solid card. I don't think there were any bad matches. Maybe one slightly disappointing match, but for the most part, they were all pretty good, with a few that were great. At least one that was one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. Anyway, let's get right into it. National Anthem was by Reba McEntire. It was pretty countrified, but she did a pretty great job. She can sing. She was really good. Commentary is Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. I'm going to say something maybe controversial. I'm not a huge fan of Bobby Heenan's commentary. I think he's a genius. I think he's hilarious. I think he's a great manager, a great promo guy, and when he does commentary, he's super funny, but he's a little too funny. It's just joke, which is incredibly entertaining and fun, but Jesse the Body took it a little more seriously. He knew that his commentary kind of lended credibility to the matches, whereas Bobby Heenan doesn't really do that. He's just funny. But that's okay, because at least he's hilarious. First match of the night is Tito Santana as the Matador versus Shawn Michaels in his solo WrestleMania debut. This is his first time not as a part of the Rockers. And it's a solid match, really good match. Mr. WrestleMania versus El Matador, two Hall of Famers just having a really good match. This was a great way to start the night. And the momentum keeps going with the second match, The Undertaker versus Jake the Snake Roberts. This was an interesting match because they both have such conflicting styles. Jake the Snake is an old school wrestler, whereas The Undertaker, his gimmick is he doesn't sell anything, he doesn't feel any pain. He gets up from 2 DDTs. At this point, I don't know if anybody had even gotten up from 1 DDT, but 2 is unheard of. Anyway, Undertaker wins and his streak continues. He's 2-0. This was a pretty fun match. Then we have the Intercontinental title on the line. Champion Roddy Piper versus Bret Hart, also making his solo WrestleMania debut. This was a great match. It was one of those passing of the torch type matches where, Roddy Piper anoints Bret Hart as the new Intercontinental Champion. Even though he's been the Intercontinental Champion already, this was officially Bret coming into his own as a solo wrestler, and it was awesome. Just a great match. I recommend this one. 2 thumbs up. It had one of the best finishes ever. Roddy Piper has Bret Hart in the sleeper hold, and Bret Hart kind of walks up the turnbuckle, does a flip, and pins Roddy Piper while still being held in the sleeper hold. It was pretty great. Only Bret Hart. Only Bret Hart. Up next is a really weird promo. It's Lex Luger talking about the WBF. Anybody else remember the WBF? It was WWF's attempt to have a bodybuilding competition. I don't know if it was as big a disaster as the XFL, but it was not a hit. Next is an 8-man tag team match. This one was pretty fun. It was the Mountie, the Repo Man, and the Nasty Boys versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Big Boss Man, Virgil, and Sergeant Slaughter. How could that not be fun? And that brings us to the first of what they dubbed the double main event. 2 main events, although really it takes place right in the middle of the card, and the other is right at the end. So technically there's really 1 main event. But right in the middle is the first of the double main event. It's for the championship. Ric Flair, champion, defending against Randy the Macho Man Savage. I wrote down in my notes, epic. This is quite possibly the best match I've seen so far in WrestleMania Wednesday. Certainly the best match since Savage Steamboat, but I think this one may have been a little more fun. It may have been a little more exciting. It was more bloody. It was more of a battle, while still being really technically sound. It just, this story they told was just so engaging. I remember this feud so well as a kid. Ric Flair had a bunch of photos that were they fake, were they real, of him and Miss Elizabeth, Macho Man's wife. And he said, before she was yours, she was mine, or whatever he said. He was just the combo of Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect will never be beat in terms of wrestling villainy. Just the two biggest assholes in wrestling history. And I mean that at the highest form of compliment. They were amazing. The two best heels of all time. Two of my all-time favorites. Loved it. Just the chemistry was amazing. This match it went on for a while, and it was just it was a battle. It was a brawl. Loved it. Match of the night. One of the best matches in WrestleMania history. It was awesome. Up next is the model Rick Martel versus Tatanka. Pretty good. Not much to say about that. Then the tag team titles are on the line. It's the champions Money Incorporated, Ted DiBiase and IRS, versus the Natural Disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon. This one wasn't amazing, but it was solid. It was fun. I guess I had forgotten about Money Incorporated, where the $1 Million Man teamed up with IRS. I never really understood IRS gimmick. Was he an accountant? Did he work for the IRS? It's kind of a coincidence. Why would a rich guy team up with the IRS? I don't know. It was weird. But Natural Disasters won by countout, but they did not get the title. Up next is the Rocket Owen Hart versus Skinner. This one was like a minute or 2 minutes long. It was really weird. I thought it was going to be pretty cool, but then it was over before you knew it. Owen Hart, pinned him pretty quickly. This was back when they kept trying different gimmicks with Owen Hart. You'll remember him from an earlier WrestleMania as the Blue Blazer, and now he's the Rocket. They kept trying to have him as a babyface, and he really comes into his own once he turns full-on heel and has his feud with his brother. That's when Owen Hart takes off and becomes awesome. But this match, I'm not going to say it was bad. It was just nothing. It was just too short to really matter. But even 2 minutes of Owen Hart is pretty good. And then we have the final main event, which is Sid Justice versus Hulk Hogan. I'm not gonna say this was a great match. I'm not gonna defend either of these two, but I was certainly entertained. It starts, of course, with Sid Justice doing a promo, and his promos are legendary for their incoherence and just insanity. I mean, his nickname was Psycho Sid, and he really earned that because he's just so weird, but that's good. Like, he's never boring. I love Psycho Sid. He was great fun. He was a pretty good foil for Hulk Hogan. I mean, neither of them are great technical wrestlers, but they're both big, giant monsters, so it was pretty fun. I think it ended with kind of like a botch where Hogan dropped the leg and went for the pin, which in any other match that would be it. But Papa Shango was supposed to come out at that point and have some kind of shenanigans, but he missed his cue or something. I've read some of the behind the scenes stuff, but I don't really know the whole story, but he missed his cue. So Sid Justice had to kick out of the leg drop, which had never been done before. I don't think it's ever been done since, which happened. Huge history-making event, but it happened by accident. So that was interesting. It was definitely it was a different kind of Hogan match because of the ending. And then Papa Shango finally did come out and then started beating people up. And then the Ultimate Warrior came out and saved Hogan. It was zany and hard to follow, but it was, it was decent. It was decent. The main event should have been Ric Flair, Randy Savage, because that match was amazing, whereas this one was just pretty fun. I guess the real question on everybody's mind then, and lasting until today, 30 years later or whatever, is why didn't Hogan and Ric Flair fight in the main event for the title? You hear different conspiracy theories, different ideas about it. Apparently they had a bunch of matches at house shows that weren't televised and just the chemistry wasn't there, which I find hard to believe because I think Ric Flair could have a great match with anybody. But I'm assuming that the egos were involved, who was going to win. I don't know what would have happened, but that match, Ric Flair versus Hogan, never happened, at least at WrestleMania. I think maybe it later happened at WCW, and it was probably a letdown. But as it is, I say I give WrestleMania VIII a big thumbs up. It was a lot of fun. Definitely check out the Roddy Piper Bret Hart match and the Ric Flair Macho Man match. That one, 5 out of 5 stars for that one. That one was awesome. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Wednesday. I wore this shirt to get coffee this morning at the coffee shop down the street, and the guy gave me a discount, and he said, "Here's an extra 25 cents off because of that shirt." I took it. It's a Ric Flair. Everybody loves Ric Flair.